Hi, everybody. It's great to hear all the chatter and see you all here today. I'm Kelly Campbell. I'm one of our strategic planning co-chairs, along with Nicole Dabbs, who will be coming up shortly. And we want to welcome you today to our feedback forum. We'll be reviewing our work thus far, and we'll also be introducing you to the co-chairs of the various groups who are working on our deliverables for the various goals. So we'll go ahead and get started. Here's an outline of today's presentation. I will ask that if you have questions, could you please hold them until the end, and then we'll come through and circulate and get anything answered for you. Same with our Zoom participants. If you could just hold your questions until the end, and we'll have someone monitoring the Zoom as well to get your questions answered. Here is, I know it's a little hard to see, but here's a visual description of our timeline, which is available on our website. And right in the middle of the timeline, you can see that that's where we plan to solicit campus feedback. And so here we are at the early March time point, where we'll be sharing some drafts with you today. And then we'll have a survey that's open for you to weigh in with your feedback. So what I'd like to do first is provide an orientation to the strategic planning process, because thus far we have not yet presented to campus as a whole so that everyone can learn what's been going on since the academic year began. And really, as you can see on the slide, this started back last spring. We presented to Senate and in various places, JHBC, etc. But this is our first time really presenting the overview to you all. So in terms of the goal themes that we've decided upon, there are 4 of them, and they were solidified at a retreat that was held last spring by the president, which had various campus leaders, including the executive committee from Faculty Senate, department chairs, administrators. People came together to review different reports, such as the WASP report, hear from different committees, and to decide on the 4 goal themes. So the themes that were decided upon include 2 that are carryovers from the last strategic plan. So those are the first 2, student success and faculty and staff success. There are 2 new goal themes, which are DEI and internationalization. Okay, here on this slide, you can see an overview in terms of the organizational chart. So the way that the task force was populated is that back in early fall, in September, a call went out to campus asking for volunteers for anybody who wanted to work on one of these 4 goal themes, as well as asking for a research subcommittee if you had research skills and you were interested in that domain. And many people came forward and volunteered to serve on this task force. After that, the president's cabinet met for several sessions and decided on the final group members. Care was taken to ensure that the people who were in those groups represented students, staff, faculty, including members of Senate, and administrators, so that they were diverse in that way. Also diverse in many other ways, such as making sure the various colleges were represented and different ranks in terms of professional ranks. So we had these different work groups that were populated, and then at the top you can see that there are the co-chairs. So the co-chairs, or the advisory group, are made up of the co-chairs from each of the groups down below. So the work groups that you see there, as well as the research subcommittee. Okay, and I should mention, all of this is on our website. So if I'm going through this a little bit fast, you can go back after today and revisit all this information on the strategic plan website. The other thing we did in fall is to secure an external consultant. His name is Paul Frigga, also on the website if you want to learn more about him. And his purpose, he's an expert in strategic planning, and his purpose is to serve as an external consultant to weigh in with the deliverables that are being generated and providing input and feedback along the way. Okay, so here's the charge of our work groups. They have to develop these deliverables. And today, what we'll be presenting to you and what you will weigh in with on the survey that's going to go live at the end of the session and remain open until March 15th are 2 things: the goal statements that have been drafted from the work groups and their drafted objectives. So that's pretty high level, abstract still. What we would like for you to do in that survey is to provide us with suggested strategies or outcomes you would like to see over the next 5 years that align with those goal themes, and objectives. So you'll see open text boxes when you get to the survey, and we really want your ideas. If you can dream big, what are those change domains, those areas that you would like for us to invest in, to grow, to change on our campus? Okay, and put those into the text boxes so that our work groups can see your suggestions and take those suggestions as they move forward in refining their drafts and building out the rest. But just keep in mind that what you see here on the slide, there are only two components that we'll be presenting you with today. So that's at the high level, goal statements and objectives. Here's what we're doing in spring. So every 2 weeks, the work groups are meeting to develop their drafts, to work on things. And once they get your feedback, they'll be finalizing those documents. You can see that in the middle there, we're at the March 7th feedback forum. We will be finalizing this plan by late May, early June, and then we'll be publishing it to campus. So our feedback survey, as I mentioned, it will go live at the end of this session. It's going to stay open until March 15th. In addition to the survey, though, I want to say that on our website, you'll see a spot called Share Your Voice. Since the beginning of this planning process and all the way through to the end, you can go at any point and write anything you want and provide us with anonymous feedback there. That feedback gets shared out with the entire task force so they can consider it as they move forward with their drafts and finalizing things. Okay, so that's always there for you. Now I'm going to, oh, and I should mention one more thing. In the survey that you're going to fill out, you will not only be weighing in with the drafted goal statements and objectives, you're also going to be weighing in on a proposed revision to our mission statement and core values. Okay, so we're going to talk through that today, and I'll turn it over to my co-chair, Nicole Dabbs, who will walk you through some of that.
All right. So as you are preparing for the feedback, we want you to consider some working definitions that we've been using in our work groups as we're developing each of these deliverables. So the first thing is vision. So vision is future oriented. So you want to think about how that is happening in our campus. And we'll bring up the slides with the vision. And then our mission is where we are, why we are here, right? So something that makes you proud. So thinking about that as we're looking at our proposed mission statement. And then for values, these are the guiding principles. These should foster belonging. So really thinking about how you feel in your position on this campus, and are these values fostering that belonging. So for our vision, this is our current vision, and we have no proposed changes to this, but we just wanted to show it to you as a reminder. So this is kind of the vision that we feel we're going to stay the same and keep it as is. So you'll see on this slide that we have a mission, the mission statement that we currently have. So that is here just as reference, but our proposed mission statement is on the second half of the slide. And so that is something that we're proposing, and it will be in the survey. We want your feedback on how you think that this mission statement, does it make you proud? We want it to be concise. We want it to be memorable, those types of things. So we're a diverse Coyote family. We're a diverse Coyote community. We foster each other's success through active learning, intense mentoring, impactful scholarship, professional development, personal growth, and dedication to individualized student needs on campus, regionally, and globally. So in addition to the mission statement, we have 9 core values currently for our university, and each of those 9 core values are listed up at the top. Those also have definitions that are on our university website. for the sake of not putting them all on here, we wanted to condense those 9 into 4 overarching values that we thought were a little bit more succinct, but do encompass those original 9. And so you'll see that our new proposed core values are progress, access, community, and kindness. And so each of those, obviously, as you can see, spell out PAC. And so thinking about something that we can remember, our students can go around, our faculty and staff, and can remember that we have PAC values, and they can probably remember those 4 key ones. And then within each of those, we have a description that goes into a little bit more detail. So we're going to show those to you, and these will, again, also be on the feedback survey. So I know this is a little bit smaller, but we wanted to give you, some information about each of these in italicized. You'll see in each of these that the italicized words are those original 9 that came from our original values, our current values right now. So when we were thinking about progress, we were trying to capture our growth and development and innovation, sustainability, and integrity. Within access, we are trying to capture here the access that's inclusive to our campus and community members. In the community section, we are capturing our commitment to our region with social mobility, social justice, and equity as a foundation. And in kindness, we are capturing respect and care for each other and the well-being of the holistic person. So both of these proposed mission statement and the proposed core values have gone through multiple iterations and revisions with our advisory board, with strategic communication, and our external advisor. So this is kind of where we've landed to gather all of your feedback. So that will be shown again in that feedback survey. So to prepare you, as you're going to hear from each of the co-chairs of each of the work groups, they're going to be presenting, as Kelly mentioned, on the goal statements and objectives. So within each of these, you want to make sure you understand how we're defining goal statements and how we're defining objectives. So when you're listening to them, that's kind of everyone's using these definitions. So just making sure we're all on the same page. It's also on your handouts that you're given today. So you have them there as reference as we're going through each of those. So the goal statement is that general description that has an intended broad end states to be achieved. And then those objectives are the desired effects that CSUSB aims to generate. We instructed our work groups to have about 2 to 3 objectives per goal statement. So as a reminder, the goal statements will be that description, and then those 3, I think every group has about 3 objectives under each goal statement. And we really just want to thank all of our task force, all of the members have been working really hard to meeting for hours upon hours and drafting all of these. They've been working hard. And so we really want to thank them for their work. And we're excited to hear from each of the work groups. So our first work group that's going to come up is our student success work group, and they will introduce themselves and introduce their work.
Thank you. So just to start off with quick introductions, I'm Basili Bedish, your Vice President for Student Affairs.
I'm Tom Gershon, Associate Professor in the English Department and Director of the Writing Intensive.
And we have had a wonderful group of folks that have been working together. I think there's 14 of us, and I'm actually going to name them because I think it's important to acknowledge the individuals who have been putting in all those hours of work. So in addition to Tom and I, other members of our committee include Ryan Keating, Rachel Beach, Rebecca Lubas, Jennifer Alford, Nicole Climo, David Marshall, Robert Flores, Hattie McNutt, Ian Benuelos, Jennifer Mersman, and our fabulous ASI students, Sarah Lopez and Paula Galvez. So know that you've had a pretty broad group of folks who were working together to put together the goals and objectives that you're going to look at right now. And just to kind of explain a little bit about the process, as it's already been acknowledged, we obviously had a number of conversations, but early on, one of the things that we did with the group was we really just gave folks an opportunity to kind of just throw a lot of ideas out. If anyone's used Jamboards before, they're a really great way to just kind of collect people's perspectives and information. And I don't see Jennifer here. I'm assuming she's probably zooming in. But I think a lot of credit goes to Jennifer Mersman also for really helping us to kind of summarize and synthesize all the amazing ideas that everybody had amongst the members of our committee. So I definitely want to give her just a quick shout out. And also she does a very good job of keeping us on track and focused. So I appreciate her support in this effort. So going into our goal, the goal that we have developed so far is students choose CSUSB to engage in inclusive experiences that foster their curiosity and transform their lives. So in looking at that, there's a variety of different pieces to that, and I can tell you we wordsmith the heck out of these things. But it's, I think in the end, it really, we're trying to be as representative as possible to kind of help think about sort of what attracts students to us, like why do students come to CSUSB? So that's really kind of what we're trying to capture here. And I will hand it off to Tom to do the next piece.
Thank you. So as Paz pointed out, we looked at a lot of data from campus stakeholders, from institutional research, and reviewed a lot of external research in coming up with these. And that is true of the goal statement and then also of the objectives. And so the three objectives, the first one is to acknowledge and value students' cultural, linguistic, and social identities. And you'll see a parenthetical there. That's not meant to be a part of the final product. But it's sort of just to give you an idea of how we have been sort of framing our thinking around these. So for that objective, a sample outcome might be, obviously we're not yet at the point where we have, finalized outcomes and strategies, but just to give you an idea of the kinds of conversations we're having around these. A sample outcome could be something like students will have access to culturally responsive and adaptive pedagogy in their curricular experiences. A sample strategy that might support that outcome could be provide more compensated opportunities for faculty to learn and develop culturally responsive and adaptive pedagogical practices. The second objective, transform students' understanding of self as agents in a global society. Sample outcome there could be equitable and intrusive access to opportunities, and a sample strategy that might support that outcome is to identify students not using support services and to provide outreach to those students. And then finally, the third objective, empower students to apply competencies that enrich their communities, and a sample outcome there that would support students in achieving that objective could be something like develop, demonstrate, and apply knowledge while students are here. And a sample strategy that would support that might be more opportunities for student research and public presentation of research or scholarship. So those are the three objectives for your feedback. And I will introduce the co-chairs of the second work group, Rena Nolasco and Brad Owen.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rena Nolasco. I work over at the President's Office, and I am one of your co-chairs for the Goal 2's Faculty and Staff Success.
Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Brad Owen, Interim AVP for Faculty Development and Chief Academic Technologies Officer. We appreciate your attending today or zooming in to help us in this important collaborative process. VP Oliveras introduced their members of their working group. We'll do the same. Again, we're the Faculty and Staff Success working group. Our members were Olawase Adeoye, which is our student representative, staff members Consuelo Sanchez, Sarah Garcia, Ernesto Torres, and Tanya Pantoja, and from administration, Christina Hasija, and from faculty, Sharon Ward, Fadi Mohidad, Wagner Prado, Zach Powell, and Pamela Medina Gutierrez. And a heartfelt shout out to Tom Wong, who's assisting us with assessment matters as we compose the goal statement and the objectives.
I will, is this ours? Yes. So this behind us is our goal statement that our committee has worked very long. And again, I'm pretty sure as much of our colleagues can attest to this, we've wordsmith this as well. So we try to keep this as encompassing of our objectives that we'll go ahead and discuss later. But we try to at least capture the things that we've been hearing. So our proposed goal statement is attract outstanding employees and retain them by cultivating an environment where they thrive professionally and personally, in which their voices are represented and which fosters impactful collaborative partnerships with each other, with students, and with members of the wider campus community. And then we'll go ahead and go into our objectives.
Thank you, Rena. And as you consider these objectives, they were generated by the committee, by the working group, I should say, who looked at the current strategic plan. They looked at the material from the convening last spring that established the goals. And then we brainstormed what we thought were suitable objectives to support faculty and staff success. And then we looked at all that, and with the help of our external consultant, Paul Frega, we kind of distilled these into 3 objectives. And for the objectives, and this is true for the whole plan, it's important to think of these as containers that will be able to contain the outcomes and strategies that we want. So the objectives are somewhat general, and then the outcomes will be more specific, and the strategies as well. So with that, here are our objectives: ensure fair, versatile, and efficient work. And possible outcomes, these are not set yet, possible outcomes could be: 1, versatile work arrangements such as variable work hours, for example, 4/10s, or varying start and end times. A second outcome for this objective could be improve faculty workload apportionment among teaching, research, service, and administration. Our second objective: promote a culture of trust, which values and integrates human differences and cares for the holistic well-being of employees. Oh, I'm sorry, Rena. I just like out of control. You can have the third one.
Sign speaking.
Here, go ahead. Step in with
Okay.
the outcomes.
Okay, so some possible objectives that can fall under there, we were thinking staff and faculty are represented in shared governance. And then another one that we were thinking, or at least some of the conversations we were having with our group, was establish regular dialogue amongst administrators, faculty, staff, students that create a climate of shared understanding. And then I'll pass it. Do you want me to go ahead? Okay. And then our third objective that we were that we would like to propose is enhanced pathways for professional advancement. And then some possible outcomes. We were thinking a staff mentorship program, and also offering leadership and management training programs to help faculty and staff members take on administrative roles and advance in their careers. So those were some of the things that we would like to go ahead and propose, and we would love to hear your feedback towards the end of the program. So thank you guys. Thank you, Brad. And then we'll go ahead and introduce our colleagues. I think it's Robin and host, sorry. Yes, sorry. I blanked.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jose Munoz. I'm an associate professor here, director of the Mellon Mays Undergraduate Fellowship Program, DEI Fellow for the Office of Student Research, and I was born and raised here in San Bernardino. Before my colleague introduces herself, I wanted to name the members of our committee. Crystal Weimer Lucero, Daria Graham, Ali Abba, Jesse Felix, Eric Schott, Jane Chin Davidson, Jesus Noriega, Sunny Lin, and Guadalupe Romero.
Hello, I'm Robin Phillips. I'm VP of HR. And a special shout out for one of our members, Eric, who created these clipboards for all of us to keep up with our DEI stuff. That's just how we do in DEI. We look out for it.
All right. I will start off with our goal statement. We also had a very good group, very collegial. We had a very collegial group. Feel set. Okay. I think we listened to everyone's comments. I think we integrated all the feedback that we got as best we could. And one of the things that we pushed for in our group is to get across this idea that we are advancing work that is already being conducted in the area of DEI. So the diversity, equity, and inclusion statement is advance an environment where every member of the university plays an active role in diversity, equity, and inclusion excellence through engagement, empowerment, education, and accountability. I wanted to move on to our objectives. Our objective number one is to uphold an unwavering commitment to create an enduring, diverse, equitable, and inclusive environment. And one of the strategies that we would like to explore is how do we support different affinity groups, club organizations, and other communities and populations on campus in the area of DEI.
So the group really wanted to stress the importance of communicating that there's already outstanding work that's happening in the area of DEI on this campus every day. And, you know, we want to thank each of you for your role in that. Part of what we wanted to do was just to be intentional about it, right? And I think that this decision to add DEI only reinforces how important this is. So we have taken in input from many of our campus partners, as well as the President's DEI board, the co-chief diversity officers, all sort of play a part in this work that we're doing. And this is also forever ongoing, right? But our objective too, I think in itself could almost be a goal, right? With this to strengthening our culture of belonging, acceptance, and appreciation for the unique characteristics and contributions of all staff, faculty, all students, faculty, staff, and administration. And we thought it was important to really identify each of those areas because they all play a different role, right, in achieving this particular objective. And so some of the things that we just sort of listed out was that, in fact, I just had a conversation with someone today about, you know, gender neutral bathrooms, and they thought that there was only about 4. And I called Jenny and I said, Jenny, wait a minute, how many do we have? You know, I've been here for about 6 months. And she says, maybe 40 or so, right? So even though we may have made progress, right, we've gone from, let's just say 4 to 40, that doesn't mean that we don't still have work to do. So we're looking at gender neutral bathroom spaces, lactation rooms, and interface meditation and prayer rooms, right? Expanding this out so that it meets the needs of all of our campus partners. And so that is objective 3.2. And then we had a different objective for our 3.3, and at the sort of our last meeting, we sort of came up with this particular objective, which is to promote and support a campus culture that values and upholds civil rights and protections for all members of our community. And so one of the strategies, thanks to Kelly, who shared, so like, Kelly, could you repeat that again? Because she brought this up. And we still need to do a little bit of work on this, but it's to provide training programs to help students, faculty, and staff understand their rights and responsibilities under the law and learn how to identify and respond to discrimination, harassment, and other civil rights issues. Because, you know, not only is it our work, it's all of our works, and we have to empower people to be able to speak up for their rights and what they're entitled to. And so we want to make sure that as a campus, we honor that, we promote that, and we support them in that. And so, you know, so that's where we are. And we really will appreciate your feedback because we can't do this without you. This goal represents each and every one of you, and we need your help in doing this. And so with that, I will turn it over to our next group, Group 4.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining in person and also the joining through the Zoom. And even though it's lunch hour, because I value meals so hardly, so I really appreciate it. So my name is HKO. I'm one of the co-chair of the Goal 4 and my partner of the crime.
And I am not. I'm Tomás Gómez Arias. I'm the Dean of the Jack H. Brown College of Business and Public Administration.
That's so long name. All right, so we also have the 10 additional working group members who are so enthusiastic. And in Thomas and my job is to stopping them to not to go far away. But here are the members: Ace Eglin, Joe Tomney, Unok Beck, Nancy Hernandez, Pamela Moses, Rika Dawson, Stasia McCambridge, Taewon Yang, Yawen Lee, and also we have ASI International Student Representatives. So one of the background of our goal internationalization, in 2 years ago, our campus participated in American Council on Education Internationalization Lab. So the committee worked the 2 years long and provided some of the outstanding report and also the strategic goals for internationalization. So that was the foundation of drafting our goal statement. And also in recently, everyone knows the ChatGPT came out. So we tried out ChatGPT. However, our committee member voted out the ChatGPT draft version of the goal, but this is how we come up with our goal statement. Right? The human intention is better than the ChatGPT. It is different, Thomas. All right. So the goal for internationalization, our goal statement is to distinguish CSUSB as a global institution that provides the transformative international experience to its campus community. And I'm going to hand it over to Thomas to explain more about the objective statement.
There we are. Right, thank you. We were very obedient. We came up with 3 objectives. The first one is to improve the global learning opportunities for students, faculty, and staff through enhanced globally focused curricula and co-curricular activities. Some of the more specific outcomes could be the number of those opportunities that are available, how many people participate in those, and the strategies are really to put them in place. Working across divisions and to create those co-curricular events and probably a co-curricular transcript. The second objective is to expand student participation in education abroad programs, doing things like integrating COIL into the education abroad program. COIL is sort of an online version of international collaboration in coursework, and expanding recruitment efforts to get more students into study abroad, lower the cost, and raise awareness of those programs. And the third objective is to grow and diversify the student body, doing things like planning for different regions and countries where to recruit international students, and promote the success and well-being of international students when they are on campus in the many ways in which they are impacted by their presence here. And with that, I think, who's next?
Who's next is Kelly.
Kelly next, okay.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Give her the-
Okay, thank you, everybody. It's so great to have you all give the rundown of everything that's been going on in your groups. So I'll show a couple of summary slides, and you all have handouts that hopefully you picked up on the table outside as you came through. So this table here shows a summary of our current vision, proposed mission, proposed values, and the goal themes. And so again, that's on your handout. And then we also have a pretty intense slide here that shows the goal statements and the drafted objectives that you just heard about. Again, that's in your handout. And so now with that, we're going to turn it over to our final slide, which is a QR code that will take you to our survey that will remain open until 11:59 p.m. on March 15th. And we want you to promote this survey as much as possible. You can sit here now if you want to and take it, or you can do it anytime up until it closes. But share with everybody in your offices. We want everyone to complete this. We'll hopefully have professors provide time to students in class so that they can get their voices represented there as well. And as a reminder, all of this material, the presentation slides from today, the handout from today, the survey link is all on the strategic plan website. So you can go there anytime and also share your voice there. And that's about it. We're going to circulate through. Nicole and I will stick around until that 1:30 time or until everyone's left to get your questions answered. We have someone monitoring the Zoom will come through and answer questions there as well. And so we just want to thank you for your time and dream big. Think of those change domains. Make sure you put them into the text box for us. And that's where we're going to be gathering all the feedback and finalizing our deliverables. So thanks, everybody, and bye for now.